Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Anna. That's me. Happy birthday to you. Hello guys, welcome to today's very short live lesson with me, Anna English. Today is all about happy birthdays, particularly British birthdays, because, well, I'm British and it's my birthday. Woohoo! Actually, it was my birthday last week, but I was very poorly and I spent the whole day in bed. I was so ill. I didn't eat a thing. And so, just like the Queen of England, I am going to celebrate 2 birthdays. So I had my poorly birthday, and then today and tomorrow I'm celebrating my birthday for real, having a good old jolly time. So as I just mentioned, the Queen of England has 2 birthday celebrations, and this dates back to Edward VII, who decided to have 2 birthdays because his birthday was in November. And he was nervous about the bad weather. So he decided he would have a birthday in the summer as well, so he could guarantee good weather and a nice party. And that has been continued and is still celebrated today by our lovely Queen Elizabeth. And now me, of course, the Queen and me, 2 birthdays. So thank you for joining me here, as I'm sure all of you do. Many of us will celebrate once a year to mark the day that we were born. Now, here in the UK, we will celebrate on the day of our birth, or on the day that marks the anniversary of our birth, or on the closest convenient day. So if your birthday falls on a Wednesday one year, you might think, actually, it's probably better to have a party on a Friday night or at the weekend when everyone's available and nobody's worried about work. So you'll choose which day is most convenient near the anniversary of your birth to be the day that you celebrate. Okay, so what do you do? Do you normally celebrate on the actual day, or do you find a convenient day close to it? Let me know in the comments. And bless you, Strongwit has dropped me a super chat. That's very kind of you. And you've said, happy birthday, Anna, and happy birthday to Jacob. Because yes, Jacob's birthday was a few days before mine, and he had a fabulous party, which of course I organised. So many children in the UK and some adults will throw a big party. Now, invitations are usually sent out in advance. I sent out invitations about 4 weeks before Jacob's party because I know that parents are very busy, and I know that lots of people have their birthdays in September. So I thought many children will become booked up with parties to go to, and I want Jacob's to be one of those parties that they attend. So I sent out invitations. Now, often guests are asked to RSVP. RSVP. This comes from the French. Réservez s'il vous plaît, I think is the word. It just means to reserve your place, please. So to let somebody know that you intend to attend the party. And that way they know how much food to order, how much drink to order, and just how many people are going to be there. So you will RSVP via email, maybe you'll tell them directly, or you might send them a text message to let them know. Now, a party could be held in your home, or some people decide to do it at a restaurant so they don't have to cook or clean. And for children, you might even choose to do your party at a theme park or at a zoo or somewhere fun where the children can be entertained. And that's exactly what I did for Jacob. I decided I would rather relax on his birthday and not worry about cooking or cleaning or worried about all the little babies making a mess on my nice rug. And so we had his birthday at a lovely soft play, which is a soft play is a place where there's lots of soft padding, soft toys. There's usually a ball, pool, and little slides, and lots of toys and cars and things that they can play with. Okay, so that's where we did Jacob's birthday party, and they provided the food and the drink for the children. It was fantastic. We had a big long party table, which was wonderful. Lots of you are messaging me. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if I'm not responding. What I plan to do is straight after this live stream, I'm going to go live on Instagram, where I'll be interacting with you guys directly and answering all of your questions. So if you want to have a chat with me, then just hang on to the end and we'll head over to Instagram to start that up. So when it comes to decorating for a party, we often decorate with balloons. That's usually the first thing that people think of. I opted not to use balloons this year because I'm trying to be eco-friendly and reduce the amount of plastics and waste that I create. So I didn't go for balloons, but I did do lots of bunting, which is, this is bunting. They're quite nice. And I did lots of paper decorations, which you would normally hang, but I use them on the table and at the windows and hanging from shelves and things. You can also use things like confetti. Again, I didn't use confetti because most confetti is plastic, and so I didn't want to use confetti, but you can have like rice confetti or paper confetti, lots of types of decorations that you could use. Let me know how you like to decorate in the comments below. You can also have birthday banners and all sorts of things like that. Now, guests will often dress smartly, but usually in your invitation, you will tell them what the dress code is. And if it's a children's party, it's very likely to be a fancy dress theme. So for Jacob's birthday, I said the theme was dinosaurs. And so Jacob wore a dinosaur t-shirt, and Mummy and Daddy, we both wore dinosaur t-shirts, and lots of the children came in dinosaur leggings and dinosaur costumes. It was wonderful. And we had dinosaur cakes, and I made some dinosaur biscuits, which was marvellous. Very stressful, actually, the night before. And guests will bring with them a card and a gift. Now, if someone can't attend a party and they've been invited, what they'll do is normally send a card or even a gift in the post beforehand so that that's received in advance. And Jacob was very lucky. He was such a lucky boy. He got so many lovely cards, messages and gifts from his little friends, which is very sweet. And so gifts are normally wrapped in wrapping paper. I don't know if it's the same in your country. Do you conceal the gift beforehand and let the birthday boy and girl rip them open? Or do you put a bow on the gift and hand it over? We like to wrap in wrapping paper, or we'll put it into a gift bag and just close that up and pass that over. That's much easier. And cards. Now, I know cards are very popular here in the UK, but not necessarily something that's done in other countries. Cards have been popular here for about 100 years, and we send cards for many occasions, including birthdays. So you can always expect to have, I don't know, when Jacob was born, I had how many cards? About 50 cards sent through the post. It was incredible. I felt very loved. Now, most parties will include food. Okay, so there'll often either be a meal, so adult birthdays tend to be a meal, so it'll be, perhaps we'll go to a restaurant on a Friday night to celebrate my birthday, and we'll have a nice meal and some drinks and some good fun, chat. And then for a child's birthday, it's often a buffet, because kids don't really like to sit for very long. They want to be up and playing and having a good time. So what they do is they provide a buffet, and the buffet will have things like sandwiches and finger foods, crisps and biscuits, maybe some jelly. Jelly's definitely not finger food, but there's often jelly at a buffet. Now, John is saying stop cards for eco reasons. I don't know if someone else has mentioned that as well. So when it comes to wrapping paper and cards, the way to keep it eco-friendly is either to make cards, which I had a few handmade cards this year, which was lovely. And always to make sure that you avoid cards with glitter or any plasticky bits on them. And often if I get cards, I often save them to reuse them. So I'll cut out the pictures to use as decorations on other people's cards or on gifts. So there are ways to make card usage and wrapping paper more eco-friendly. Just do what you can. Now, on a buffet, the most important thing, of course, is the birthday cake. This year, I made Jacob's cake, and I also made myself a cake for my birthday. I made this just the other night. It's a classic Victoria sponge cake. It's the first Victoria sponge I've ever made, and it has a buttercream frosting with a few strawberries and a little bit of jam in the centre. I was very proud of myself, but for Jacob, I wanted him to have a healthy cake because he's obviously only 1 year old and he has never tasted sugar and hasn't had any salt up to now. So I made him a very healthy banana cake, sweetened with a little bit of apple juice and using like wholemeal flour and blueberries. It was difficult to make because it was my first cake, and I think healthy cakes are harder to make than naughty cakes, but it worked out very well in the end. So I was very pleased with that. Okay, so all of the food will be served on themed paper plates and cups. If it's a children's birthday, not necessarily an adult's birthday, but we'll have themed plates and cups and napkins with little pictures on. I didn't for Jacob's birthday. We just used normal plates, the hard plastic plates that children use that you reuse over and over again. And in the workplace, if it's your birthday, depending on where you work, some companies will buy a cake in for you and surprise you at lunchtime. But in some places of work here in the UK, if it's your birthday, you are expected to buy a big cake for everyone else to enjoy, which I think is bizarre, but that's what happens in a lot of companies here in the UK. What do you do at your place of work on a birthday? Do you even acknowledge it? I'd love to know. Now, some of you asking where Jacob is right now. Jacob is now attending nursery for a few days a week so that I can do more work for you guys. So I'm here live today because Jacob's in nursery, and that means I'm able to do this. It's very sad dropping him off at the nursery. It makes me feel very guilty, but I have to work, so it's one of those things. So the cake can be quite basic, or it can be a work of art, but it will always have a candle, or it should always have a candle. Now, when you're younger, we often do the same number of candles as your age. So Jacob was 1, so I gave him 1 candle, and when he's 2, he'll have 2 candles, and so on. But when you become much older, you decide you don't want to have all those candles on your cake. You don't really like people knowing how old you are, and so often you'll just have 1 candle or just a couple of candles. Also, I think it's probably a fire hazard if you have loads and loads of candles. Okay, so when the cake is presented with the candle, that's when everyone will sing Happy Birthday. Now, if you're not sure of the lyrics to Happy Birthday, I've put them in the description box below for you. There are a few funny versions of Happy Birthday as well. Like, if I can remember, at school, we used to sing Happy Birthday to you. I went to the zoo. I saw a fat monkey and it looked just like you. Things like that. Or Happy Birthday to you, squashed bananas and stew. I can't even remember, but there's lots of silly versions which kids will sing to each other just to be silly and funny. Once the singing has stopped, then the birthday girl or birthday boy will blow out the candle while making a wish. And they must not reveal that wish to anybody. They make it quietly in their head, and they keep it to themselves. The suspicion is that if you tell anybody what your wish is, then it won't come true. So you have to keep it to yourself. Okay, so then once that's happened, the cake will be cut up by a responsible adult and everyone will get a piece. It'll be handed out often in a napkin, because usually by this point everyone is full from all the party food and they don't want to eat any cake. Perhaps they do, but if they don't, it'll be wrapped in a napkin and you can take it home in your little party bag. Now, children these days get a party bag, and so everyone who attends will go home with a bag that has little gifts in, little trinkets, like maybe a little colouring book, maybe a little packet of sweets, a piece of cake, a badge maybe. I didn't do a bag this year because the children attending were so little, they're babies, so I just gave them all little dinosaur toys. I bought a little toy for each child and sent them home with that little gift, a little thank you gift for attending Jacob's birthday. Now, in any party, a normal party, if it's not at a theme park or somewhere where there's lots of activity already there for you, then you will have games often. And many of the children's games are things like musical chairs. This was one of my favourites. Basically, there are a number of chairs put out in the middle of a big space. Enough chairs for everybody except one. So one chair will be taken away. So if there's 10 children, there'll be 9 chairs. Now the music plays and the children have to run around these chairs. And as soon as the music stops, they have to sit in a chair. And the person who doesn't get a chair is out. It's brutal. So then a chair then will be taken away. So there's 9 children and 8 chairs. And the same thing happens again. The music plays, they go around, the music stops, they find a chair. So it's all about being quick off the mark with your sitting, finding a chair action. And there's also something called musical bumps and musical statues. Musical bumps is the same thing. You're dancing around when the music plays, and as soon as the music stops, you sit down, and the last person to sit down is out. And musical statues is dancing when the music's playing, and as soon as the music stops, you stop still like a statue. And then the person who's judging can come around and try to make you move, try to catch your eye, try to make you giggle. And if you do, you're out. I still love playing those games. I'm very competitive. Another favourite of mine is Pass the Parcel. And Pass the Parcel is where a small present is wrapped up. And that present is wrapped up like 10 times with 10 different layers of paper, and it's passed around. When the music plays, the children keep passing it around, and when the music stops, whoever has that gift can take a layer of paper off. And this keeps happening until the lucky child gets the gift. Sometimes there's little trinket gifts in the different layers, so it's always good fun. Often leads to fighting, actually. Children punching each other because they want the present. Then there's things like Pin the Tail on the Donkey, or Simon Says, which is a kind of follow my leader kind of game. Sleeping Lions, which is great to get the kids to just lie down and be quiet, and they have to be as still as possible like sleeping lions. But it's all good fun. Now, an adult party obviously won't really have these games. Maybe they'll feel a bit silly playing games. I wouldn't. I love it. But they will probably do something like paintballing or a cookery class or karaoke or some sort of fun activity that they wouldn't normally do. Okay, so it looks like I've got a new member joined here. So if I'm not sure how to pronounce this though, DJ W87. Thank you so much for joining. You're a new member. I do want to give a shout out to my patrons and my VIP members. Your contributions to this community do help me to pay for Jacob to be in the nursery so that I can come and do things like this. So thank you so much for your ongoing support. And of course, do come and join me in the Skype room so I can reward you for your contributions. Thank you. Okay, so that's the end of this little lesson. I promised it would be 10 minutes. we've actually gone to 20 minutes. I do apologize. But what I'd like to know from you guys in the comment section is, what's your most favorite birthday present that you've ever received? Mine was a karaoke machine, which I got when I was about 10. I loved it. And then more recently, my baby. My baby was born a few days before my birthday. It was like the best gift ever. And honestly, being a mum is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I love him so much, and he brings so much joy into my life. So that was the best birthday present that I ever received. And I also want to know how you celebrate birthdays in your country. So how is it different in your country? Because these culture differences are so fascinating. A lot of people don't know about these big differences. So please do let us know down in the comments. And for now, guys, I'm going to go over to Instagram so that I can have a proper chat with you and interact with you. So if you want to have a live chat, then come and join me on Instagram. My Instagram handle ID is British English Pro. It's actually linked down in the comments in the description below, so you can join me there. All right, chaps, thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope to see you guys on Instagram. Otherwise, there'll be lots of new lessons coming, so don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and click the notifications. I'll see you all soon.